Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Ask Father Rob, where you send questions to me, Father Rob Baldwin of St. James Episcopal Church, and I answer them here on the air. Today's question is a little obscure, but let me tell you what it is. The question comes from a passage in the 18th chapter of the book of Acts. A person asks, "Why is Paul getting a haircut?" Let me read the passage to you. This is from the 18th chapter, beginning with the 18th verse. After staying there for considerable time, Paul said farewell to the believers and sailed for Syria, accompanied by Priscilla and Aquila. At Cenchreae he has haircut, for he was under a vow. Sometimes I wonder if perhaps this question was asked as a suggestion that I might get a haircut anytime soon, which is funny because today that I am. But in any case, let's talk for a moment about the haircut. The suggestion that he has a haircut as a result of a vow suggests that Paul was, for at least a short period of time, operating as a Nazirite. Now, what does that mean? Well, as far as Bible scholars can figure, the Jewish people have always had a tradition throughout the Old and New Testament of people who took on a tremendous vow. It could be a vow of different things. But while they were under this vow, whatever they promised God that they would do, they would neither drink alcohol in any way, shape, or form, touch a dead body, or cut any of their hair. Men or women could be taking this vow. One of the most famous people under this vow is, of course, Samson from the book of Judges. And actually, it was not uncommon, as was the case with Samson, or Samuel, another person possibly operating as a Nazirite, that the vow that they would be under would not be one that they would take, but rather one that would be taken for them while they were still in the womb. Samson's mother promised to God that he would be a Nazirite before he was even born. And it's possible there's a suggestion that Samuel may be operating in the same way. Paul has taken some vow, has been not cutting his hair, and for whatever reason at this point, finds himself no longer under the vow and can now cut his hair and look like a normal Jewish person did at the time. Now, of particular interest for me about the Nazirites, you don't see them too much anymore in the Jewish faith, but a very important, let's say, reference to Nazirites occurs with one of the best-known Jews, Jesus of Nazareth. Now, he was from the city of Nazareth, but when people heard the phrase constantly, Jesus of Nazareth, it sounds like they're saying Jesus the Nazirite. And a Jewish person familiar with the Nazirites would think, that sounds awfully similar to him being a Nazirite, not just from the city of Nazareth. It's almost a little bit of a play on words, because if you think about it, Jesus himself is under a vow to do the Lord's work in the world as the Son of God. And that's a vow that was taken, like Samson, like Samuel, long before he was actually born. So I think there's supposed to be a little hint about what kind of person Jesus was, not just from his actions that he did, but also from the little bit of a pun regarding his name. So when we hear Jesus of Nazareth, we can be reminded that Jesus is under a tremendous vow himself, just like other Jews were in the Bible. As I said, I'm about to get my own haircut today. I'm not sure I'll lose all my strength or no longer be under a vow to be here each and every week to answer your questions here on Ask Father Rob. And you can send your questions to me at Ask Father Rob, care of St. James Episcopal Church, 200 West High Street, Piqua, Ohio, 45356. Just drop them off here at 200 West High Street. Just bring in the question and drop it off. We're open from 9 to noon, Monday through Friday, right here in downtown Piqua, Ohio. I look forward to seeing you here next week at Ask Father Rob.